My name is Endevar, and this is Surviving with Create. Well, last time we got our crazy power setup going and we're producing 442,000 stress units, and between episodes I've done absolutely nothing. Normally I get a few bits tidied up, but I've mainly been trying to come up with a design for a building to go around this, and I'm getting it, but I'm still not completely happy. But the main point is I don't really have the blocks that I need to get this built. So that's the plan for today. We're going to set up an area around here where we can automate all of the basic blocks. So obviously that's going to start with a cobblestone generator, and from there we can make pretty much anything. It's obviously all going to be automated. We're going to be using the factory gauges to request everything and make sure that everything stays in stock. And I've also decided that this platform here doesn't really make any sense. So I think I'm going to get rid of this because we have this bit around here and then we can look down onto the main factory, and I think just getting rid of this bit will just give us a little bit more space because there's absolutely nothing on there. It serves no purpose whatsoever. So I think first job, let's do a bit of tidying. Right, so after getting that done, as you can see, we have a lot more space. So now we need to think about what we actually want to automate. So firstly, we're going to start with a huge cobblestone generator, and we are going to have a few of them on here, and we're going to use them for different things. One of them is going to be for an iron farm. One of them I'll probably use for a quartz farm, and that'll be used for lots of other things, so we can craft all the diorite, andesite and granite from that. That will also produce gold as well, which is handy. And from producing granite, we can make red sand, and then that can be used for a gold farm as well. But what we're going to do today is the basics. All the stuff that you need all of the time, that is what we're going to try and get automated. So firstly, we're going to go for cobble, and we can smelt that into stone. But then we also can take the cobble and crush it down into gravel. Now, we have been doing that already with the mill, but a much better way of doing it is to use the crushing wheel. And the crushing wheel can also be used to make sand, and you can't do that with the mill, so this is essential to get this done today. So what I've got on me at the moment is the things I need to make the mechanical crafter, which is what we need to craft the crushing wheel. We need 21 of these things, and you get 3 of them from each of the recipe, so we need to do 7 of this recipe. So it's quite expensive, and it uses a lot of stress units as well. But we have all these down here, so we are producing a lot of stress units, but I've always had the idea that I'm going to put it in this house. So yeah, we're not going to use those stress units over there. We're going to try and use the windmill that we've got going out here to power this thing. So it should be enough as long as I don't have it going at a crazy speed. Because we're only doing the crushing wheels, we don't need this going really fast. I don't mind waiting a few seconds for it to craft. So anyway, we just need to finish off the rose quartz that I've got here. Just crafted up a little bit more of this, so I just need to polish all of these, and then we should have everything that we need. Okay, so that's all those done. I'll craft all those electron tubes, and we can now craft 21 mechanical crafters. So I'm going to put these over here, and I'm going to come out one from the wall. Partly because it lands up with that window, but mainly because if I get behind it, I can make crafting this a lot easier. So if we go like this, I'm just going to place these down, and this setup is going to be 5 tall, so I think this should work out really well. So let's go just pillar up like this. If I can do it. Is it not going to do it? Because it's not. So let's just put a block there. We'll have you there. And then this is now 5 tall. Like that. And then we just need 3 on each side. We should be good to go. So you'll see all these arrows at the minute. This is the way the recipe is going to travel. So I like to have this centered so it all comes down to the middle. So you just need to right click on these and it'll rotate which way it goes. So if we start at the top, these go down there. On the left, these coming in. On the right, these coming in. So now I just want all the others to just point down like that. And then we'll have the last 2 coming into the middle. And then that means the recipe will pop out in this one. Now we can put a barrel down here, or we could have them go into a corner and have them go into something. But I don't really think that's necessary. I can just run it like this. So now I just need to get this powered. But before we do that, let's have a look around the back. So this is why I've left this like this. So when I place blocks in here like this, it'll just go in one at a time. But if I connect these like this, it'll take out all the gaps between them. So now if I do that, it's going to put it in all those at the same time, which is very handy. So let's take those out. And for the recipe, I do know the recipe for the crushing wheel, as I'm sure you all do. But what we just want to do is connect up all the outer edge like that. Now that should be good. So we need to put andesite alloy all the way around the edge, stone in the middle, and then 4 planks in those there. So I just need to get this wired up somehow. So I should have some power under here, I think. Let's have a look. I think if I come out this way, there's something under here, isn't there? There it is. Right. So what we got here is, does this go down below? I don't want to expose anything, but let's just... Yeah. Alright, this is good, yeah. Right, so what I'm planning on doing is putting a vertical gearbox here. Now, if I put that one there, that's going to turn this round. It'll probably mess up all my belts going that way. So I'm going to put another one in here just to fix the problem that I'm about to create. And then if I turn one of these into a vertical one, I'll put that there. That should now be going the right way. So with this, if I get a couple of encased chain drives, which I don't have on me, and if I put that like that, I can run a shaft along here. And I can hide all this as well. Can't take that one out. So as long as I'm inside here, I can tidy all this okay. So let's stick you there. You go back like that, and then I can just run another vertical gearbox up here. Actually, no. Let's do the chain drives. That'll be easier. Chain drives are my new favorite thing. I used to use gearboxes for everything, but chain drives are just so much easier, especially as you can turn them round. So if we go up like that, but then we have one coming up like that, then I can just put a couple of cogs in there. We're good. So this is probably going to say overstressed. Yeah, there we go. So let's have a look. I may need to put a... just fill this back in, but I'm probably going to have to put a speed controller in there just to slow that down a little bit. But let's just have a look. Have I got a stressometer around here anywhere? Probably not. Oh yeah, because it's overstressed, I can't actually request anything, can I? So let's get rid of you. Right, so if we grab a compass, turn that to a speedometer, and that one to a stressometer, and then stick you back down there. Overstressed, put that there. Ooh, 9,000 under. That's really not good, is it? So yeah, I'm definitely going to need to slow that down a lot. Right, you go away so I can actually get things out of my system. I don't want to craft a rotation speed controller. I'll get this set up off camera because we don't want to spend too much time on this. And then we can have a look at getting the crushing wheels done and hopefully start automating some things. Right, so after a lot of messing about, I did get that working over here, but as you can see, it's not there anymore. And that's because I realised that that shaft was connected to all of my water wheels downstairs, which is barely generating any power, so I couldn't run this at a very fast speed. So what I did instead is looked up and realised that all the stuff in my windmill, the connections were already here, so all I needed to do was this janky mess going across the top. And the reason I've done this is because if I just run a shaft across, it was overstressed. So I've put this in and I've got it down to 120, and this is as high as I can go, as this is at 99% now. So if I do that to 122, that is 4 stress units over, so go 121, but you know, I like round numbers, so let's go 120. So now we can actually use this thing, so I just need to grab the stuff that I need. I've got the planks, I've got these, so I just need a piece of stone, don't I? And I think that's it, so let's grab that. And this recipe does make 2 of them as well, so we don't need to worry about getting enough for 2 of the wheels. So let's grab those, you in there, and then if we just take an andesite alloy and click that in there, that should start doing it. So that animates it, puts it all together, and as you can see, even at less than half speed, that is pretty quick. So we have our first 2 wheels there. I think that is all my andesite alloys, so I would like to do another set at least. I'm going to actually need quite a few of my, so let's well, I haven't got any more andesite alloy. Yeah, I need to get this automated as well so I can get that crafted up. I may do that today actually. As we're automating basics, I should probably do the andesite alloy and the shafts and the cogs and everything next. It's a pretty straightforward thing to do. But let's just see how we get on with doing all the blocks, because that is actually quite a complicated process. So I'll just grab some andesite and some iron nuggets, and I can go get those set up. Let's stick you in there, get a few of those going. I might as well do another load while I'm here. Go in there. Right, so with the andesite alloy, we can just put those. That didn't work because I didn't have enough. Let's put that on there, and then planks again, and the stone. And this is such a cool thing. This is actually going pretty quick, isn't it? I like that. So right, I have 4 now, so I think we'll just do one more, or one more set anyway. Stone in the middle, and then planks there. Perfect. So that is going to be enough to definitely do the gravel and the sand. I'm going to want a few sets of these to do the iron farm as well, but I don't know if I'll get that done today. Right, so now we've got what we need for processing it. I'm going to need to do a ton more crafting, so I need to get everything for the cobble gen going, but also all like the brass funnels and stuff, which I don't think I've got loads of. And I'm going to need a ton of drills as well, and yeah, it's going to be a lot. So I'll get everything crafted up, and then we can go have a look at setting something up. Okay, so massive amount of crafting later, mainly for the vaults, but lots of other things as well. I've got 43 stock links for some reason, and this took some doing because I needed more vaults for those, and loads of copper sheets for the transmitters, but that's all done, and I've also started setting up a couple of cobblestone generators over here, or the layout for them at least anyway. So we're using andesite scaffolding at the bottom, and I think this is a pretty cool block to look like a support for holding things up. So what we're going to do is a max size item vault, so that's 81 of these things. Right, so I'll stick those on there, and that is the max size item vault. So this is the one I'm going to use for processing the basics, and then I'm thinking this one at this end is going to be for the iron farm, but the problem with that is it's going to have to be below. So all this stuff at the top I'm going to be moving around on belts and stuff, whereas this is just going to go straight down. It's going to drop straight down. I'm going to have chutes below here that go straight into the crushing wheels, but I don't think I'm going to want to see a lot of that. But I may change my mind, so we may move this at some point, but I've just put that there as a placeholder for now. So what we're going to do, we need to get up here. Now we can get this cobblestone generator set up, and we may as well get this running while we're setting up all the automation for everything else. So I don't have the chutes, do I? Right, so what we need is blocks down the middle, and we're going to have chutes below here, and then the cobblestone is going to generate on top of that, and the chutes pick them up and put them into there. So I'm going to bridge over here as well, because I've got an idea. I don't know if it's going to work, but obviously I'm going to need to put a lot of lava up here. So what I'm thinking is, if I put a cauldron there, that's going to fill up a lava, isn't it? No, or is this... I honestly thought that would work. Can't we go something like that? Because there's plenty of lava in there. I don't know why that's not working. It looks like it's doing something, doesn't it? But there's... Or is it because there's stuff before it? Can we do that? No, I don't like that. Alright, never mind. Maybe the lava, getting lava is going to be a little bit more difficult. But anyway, so we'll just stick that down there for now, and then we can put a pump on there, and that should work. Right, so I need to get some chutes, die. Let's do that first. Right, so chutes acquired. So I was going to put these onto the top of here, like this. I'll do that on both sides. I've seen people do this with funnels as well, but I just think the chutes are cheaper. I don't know if there's a reason why chutes are as good, but I've never had any problems with it. So what we can do is put lava in the middle, but obviously not do that first. So we'll just put these at the end. And then on the side, we're going to have leaves and waterlog those, because that's going to be much easier. And that's going to... No, that didn't go in there. That was good. Right, so we'll put this one further out so I can build off that. And then I've got my cherry leaves here just because of where we are. I'll put these all along the side. Now, the problem is getting all these full of water, because obviously they don't spread if you put them one apart. You're going to need to fill in all of these separately, which is a bit annoying. So, yeah, let's worry about that in a minute. Let's get the rest of this built. Although I'm going to need to put the water in before I put the lava there as well. And I haven't figured out how the lava is going to get there. So, anyway, put these down like this. And we'll put those on there. And put those two in there. That is the last two of those. So now we can actually put the lava in. And then the lava will spread out either way into those. Now the reason I've done this so close is because I can share the water on this side. So I only have to put one at the other side. So as I say, we might not keep this here. Right, so now I need to figure out how I'm going to get the lava off here. Although I suppose I could just steal these, couldn't I? Let's put the empty buckets. Why didn't I think of that earlier? That's a much simpler solution. Right, so let's just grab this. And these are going to fill up. And I can just grab these off here. I need 9 of them. Can't carry that many. And I will put the buckets back. Okay, so this is nice and safe. I don't actually need to fill all of them in, because they will spread out further. But it's just nicer to do it that way. So as you can see, those are going all the way along. But I am going to put all 9 in. It's not like I'm short on lava, is it? So let's put you back in there. And steal a few more. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that is all of the cobblestone generating. So now I've got 18 mechanical drills. So I'm just going to shift right click on here, and that will make those fit not like that. And that will make these face down into these. And then just same again on the other side, like that. So to connect all these up, I'm going to use my favourite block, the NKS chain drive. Just do these all the way down. And if we power one of these from the top, that is going to do all of those. And then we just do the same thing on the other side. And we can even connect the two together. Now there is something I have forgotten. I want to put a clutch on here as well. So which way is the power going to come in? I suppose if we do it at this side, that'll make it easy work. So we can go like that. And if we put one, let's just drop down, facing this way, those will connect those three together, and I can have a shaft coming in from this way. How do I have shaft? Let's go with that. So stick you on there. No idea how I'm going to wire this up yet, but we'll figure that out in a minute. Once that's powered, that is actually it. So I suppose we should really get that going now, shouldn't we? We're going to do this from over here. I suppose we could just bring this chain drive, because I have got it set up at the other end. But if we just bring this over here, this would be actually quite convenient. to run everything off this. So let's go like that. And I'm going to need a gearbox eye to bring it this way. Suppose we have that facing down like that. Put gearbox on top. I'm going to need another one of those as well. That's annoying. Yeah, so one gearbox in there, and that is the whole thing set up. So I'm going to go grab that. Right, so I got this set up now, but I've done it slightly differently to how what I was thinking. Didn't need the gearboxes at all. What are you doing? Right, so what I've done is, because this was at the default speed, which I believe is 64, that's not what I want. Because we're generating all these fresh units, I want it going at max speed. So I put a speed controller up here next to these, run the shaft off that, and connected up those two with the encased chain drive. So it didn't need any gearboxes at all. And if I just have an encased chain drive going all the way along here, that's going to be quite handy to tap into, isn't it? But anyway, we have 18 drills now running at full speed. So let's see what kind of impact that's had. And yeah, not a lot. So we're only at 4% with 18 drills at full speed, so that's got to be good. So we can duplicate the setup for when we do the iron farm, and with that we're already at 4,000 cobblestone, and that's been running for a few seconds, so that's absolute madness. So right, now what I want to do is also add a clutch into there. So I've just searched for that here, and this is anti-casing shaft and redstone. And what this allows you to do is basically, if we put that on there, if we power it, it'll stop these drills from working without like breaking anything else in the system. So I just need to grab one piece of redstone dust and we can get these finished off. Right, so I've got my clutch there now. So if I just take that one out, and it's basically the same as what I've done here. If we put this in, and then I'm just going to manually power this for now, but we can do this automatically later on. So if I just stick that on there, that is going to turn off those drills. So what are we at? 8,000? Yeah, let's keep that going. I think these hold like 100,000, so why not? Just keep that going. So now that is the cobblestone generator done. Obviously we can automate turning this off, which we are going to do, but now we need to work on also processing this into a few things. So we're going to do gravel, sand, glass, stone, maybe smooth stone as well, so I use this quite a lot. And then from that we're also going to get byproducts of flint and clay as well, so we can turn the clay into bricks and maybe into terracotta as well. So I'll have a think about the layout, because what I want to be able to do is request all these items with the factory gauges, and that's how they're going to keep auto stocked. But at this end as well, I also want to be able to request these items into the main system, or maybe in another like crafting area that I'm going to set up. I don't know yet, but that's why I want to have everything pointing this way. So we're going to have frog ports at this end and a chain drive going down this way, and maybe up that way. I'm going to tidy this up as well, or we can go up that way as well. We might even have a loop, but that's basically how I want to lay it out. So we're going to have a few vaults here with each of the items that we're auto processing, and then it'll probably be the same for the iron farms also. We can request things out of there. But yeah, I need to have a little think about the layout, and then we can have a look at how these factory gauges and all the auto processing of this works. Okay, so I've been having a little play, and I think I know what I'm doing now. I did also try setting up a way of requesting things in my main vault up there, but because I've got things so tightly packed and I didn't really think about allowing for that, it's going to be way too complicated and I don't think really worth it. So what I'm thinking I might do is set up a way of requesting things from this vault, which is where I drop off all the stuff from when I've been mining, and there's some decent stuff in there that might come in handy. But I think the main thing is, as long as we can request stuff out of here, send it into some processes down here, and we can request some all those, and I am trying to talk here. As long as we can do that, the other stuff I can just do manually, and then maybe we can do a new storage system where it's more integrated into this. Firstly, what we need to have a look at is what I've done here. So I've basically just set up a belt. So we do still have the power coming across there for the cobblestone generator, but then I've just done the same thing over here with a rotation speed controller, maxed that out, and I'm just sending that across here just to drive this belt. So what my plan is, with this package here, this is going to have a stock link on it, and this at the moment is not linked to a network. This is a brand new network, so it's not going to be linked to the one I've got up there. And we're going to request things from this with factory gauges. So if we just craft two of these, and it's just a stock link and a precision mechanism, so not the cheapest items in the world, and we're going to need somewhere to put these. So what you do with these is put them on a wall somewhere. So maybe we do it over here. So we can put these down. Actually, no, I need to link it to this stock link. That was the whole point of doing that stock link first. So let's put that on there. I believe those are both linked to that now. So if we just put these on here, if we put cobblestone in there, this will tell us how many we've got in the system that this is linked to. So this is just this system, not the one that we've got up there. So if I put the gravel in here, that is going to say 0 because it doesn't have anything. So what we need this to do is if we right click on this, we can add a new connection and say that the gravel is created from cobblestone. And then the system will then automatically request it to whatever we set this to. So I'm going to set this to a stack. I always do it a stack at a time. Just makes sense when you're doing bulk stuff like this. So you just scroll your mouse, you can set that to the max. And then we want to send this to where we want it processed. Now you can have separate processes for each of the things you're doing. So I could call this gravel and then I'll send it to the gravel one. But what I'm thinking of doing this time, which I've never done before, so it should be interesting to say the least, and I'm going to name them by processes so we can send multiple things to the same thing. So this one is for the crushing wheels, so we'll call this process crush. And if we just tick that, once we set a target amount, will send cobblestone via that packager to a destination called crush, which we haven't set up yet, so it wouldn't actually find anything. But I'll tell you what we can do. Let's just do this and I'll show you what happens. So we're going to set it to 1 stack. So that will now request that and put that package in there. So if we had a funnel on here, which I've got some there, so let's do this. Put it on there, that is going to send that package, but because it doesn't have a destination, it's just going to end up over here, so I'll just grab that. So what we need to do now is set up a destination called crush, and one of the ways we could do that, which is not the way I'm going to do it, so don't copy this, but what I could do is have an item vault or a barrel or anything, and then if we shift right click it into there, we can set up a filter on here to take things into there. Now it wouldn't be like that, we would have a packager there first, so we'd have a vault there, and then a packager on there like that, and then that would work if we set up the filter on there. But if we're doing loads of items at the same time and we have multiple things going into this crush setup, then a lot of the boxes would end up going past, because this does take a fraction of a second, maybe even a second, to actually process it. So if there is a package in there, it won't pick up another one that's going past. So you'd have to have it loop back around, which is possible. I might even do that just as an extra safety feature, but there is a better way of doing this. So I'm going to take this off, and I suppose we should set up the filters as well, shouldn't we? But I need zinc for that, and I don't think I brought any. No zinc. So we'll do that in a second. But we'll have a look at the other way of doing it. So what I've crafted here is brass tunnels. I'm going to need a few of these, but we do this with electron tubes, brass ingots, and dried kelp, and that will give us 2 brass tunnels. So what we can do with this is set that all there, and these are handy for splitting items out into multiple belts. So we could have like one next to it at either side, or maybe just 2 on this side, and then we could have belts coming out of that, and it would split the items along. But what we're going to do instead is, if we have a belt coming out this way like that, that is going to have another output. So what we can do is set the package filter to crush on this side, and any packages that come out that are labeled crush will go this way and go into the crushing setup. So we're going to have multiple things like this all the way along. So we're going to have another tunnel down here, and there'll be a smelting one, there'll be a washing one, and a haunting one, and this will all be controlled from the factory gauges that we're going to have somewhere. I don't know if we're going to keep them on that wall, but once you've got them set up, you don't need to access them all the time, but they do actually look quite cool once you've got loads of them. So we'll craft these package filters. I'll do a few of them with zinc nuggets and wool. So let's grab some of those, put that away for now, and then if I take one of these and then I right click on this, and I can label this to the address that we want to send it to. So I'm going to tick that, and then if we come around here and right click that in there, we'll set that to crush. I didn't mention as well, at the moment this is still trying to send things out because it hasn't received back the gravel, because it sent a request, it said it wants to make gravel, so it sent out the cobblestone and it didn't get any back. But that's because we've got this down here, so the promises do not expire. So we can set this to a few seconds, so if it doesn't get it back straight away, then it'll try sending something again. But for most things that we're going to be doing today, we're going to leave this to do not expire, because it's going to take a little bit of time to process things, so we need to wait for it to get back, so we don't want to set a time on it. But what we can do is, if we just click that, there's no open promises. So what it's actually going to do now is try sending it, and it didn't work, did it? So I was hoping it would go in this way. Oh no, that's because I haven't powered this yet, that's why. Right, so let's take this back, and if we power this belt, put you on there like that, that's powered. So now if I throw this on here, that is going to come out this way because it's got the address filter on it now. That solves the backlog issue there. Now the same thing would happen if we had items backing up on here. They wouldn't be able to get through, and then they'd still end up flying off the end. So what we can do instead is have a bit of a buffer, and I think to do that I'm going to have a barrel just so I can look inside it rather than the bolts being really difficult. So let's just grab a few barrels as well. I'll put those in there because I don't need it for the minute. So if we put a brass funnel on there, that is now going to put the packages into there. And then we can extend this belt out a little bit because I don't want to go too far that way, but I think we should have enough room. So we're going to extend the belt out. This can put the packages back down, and then we're going to have another barrel over here, and then this is going to have a package on it, and this will unpack everything into that barrel just like that. So from there we now basically are into crushing. So let's just take that out, and the great thing about the belts is that we can use the power that these are using because it transfers power just like a shaft would, and then we can use that to drive everything else. So we'll do this, and then we're going to have, I know it looks like a big complicated setup this, I could probably like wind it around a bit as well so it doesn't go too far this way, but let's just get it done this way and see how it goes, because I do need room at the side as well to be able to send things back. Because what we're going to do here, we're going to request gravel, but we're also going to use the same setup for sand. But to do that, we're going to need to request items that are in a vault over here, not from this one. So we're going to need to be able to go back round to come back to this again. So we're going to go like that, and then if I take 2 vertical gearboxes, put those on the side of here, and I hope this is going the right way. And this will do the crushing wheels. Now be very careful with these, because if I get caught in this, it will die. So that looks really slow, doesn't it? But it's not. It's just the side of it looks slow for some reason. Anyway, that's going to go like that. And because that stops, because that's not the end of it now. So I just need to put another shaft in there, and I'll get those going. So that is pretty much it. I think we're going out about as far as I want to. So most of it is just a buffer, and this is just for security, and this is the only thing that actually does anything. So we're going to have a vault at this end, and I'm going to do a 2x2 for these. I don't know how big we're going to go. Let's go 4. That should do it. We can test it now, can't we? So let's just put, so yeah, everything will get sent, one package. Now you can also use a sawmill to split the packages directly, but because we want a bit of a buffer here, I'm going to use a packager. So this should be alright. So now all I need to do is cancel this promise. Now it should do it again. Come this way, go out there, and the cobblestone come out onto here, I believe. Is it doing it? Did I miss it? Yeah, there we go. So we have 64 gravel in there. So now that is completely set up for the gravel. So I can actually set that. So let's say we want to keep stock of 12 stacks. That is going to send those out. It'll be 2 packages because you can have 9 in each one. And there is a bit of a gap between each one, but it is still necessary to have this buffer if you've got multiple things coming down. So yeah, that is filling up in there. So now all we need to do to complete this process is have a belt coming this way. And because we've got these gearboxes here, we can just run directly off that. And I think that should be okay, shouldn't it? So yeah, this just needs to come back over here. Set up a belt like that. We'll go one more. And then if we just go packager on there, and then we just need to put a stock link on there and make sure it's linked to this one. And then if we put this one onto here and a funnel on there, that is going to be able to send things back. So if we now craft up some more of these factory gauges, you don't need one for now, but let's just link it to that again, and then we can go on here, and this now tells us we have 12 stacks. So I can do the same thing again. I need sand though, I don't have any sand. And then, I can do it with this, right, that's good. So I don't have any, but I can just use JI. Solid, no, not suspicious sand, normal sand, let's put sand in there. Right, and I don't have any. So add new connection, that's going to come directly from gravel. And then for this, I'm going to do this to a stack again. And it's 1 to 1, so on a stack. And again, we just need to say where this is going to go, and this is going to go to crush. So we'll tick that, and then we just need to set a target amount. Now what's going to happen is, it's going to send out the gravel to do the sand, but because the gravel will then have gone down, it's also going to send out more cobble to top up the gravel. So we'll set this to, let's go something bigger, so let's do 18 stacks for this. Now this should be sent out into here as well. So that, as you saw, was sent out from this one, and it went back around into there, and it got crushed. So we have 10 stacks of gravel in there and 1 stack of sand. But as a byproduct from crushing the gravel, we're not just getting sand, we're also getting clay and flint as well. So we're going to need to be able to access that at some point. But my plan is to have another packager with a frog port on the side and another stock link but instead of being part of this network, it's going to be part of my main network. So when I'm on my main storage, I'm going to be able to access all of the item vaults that are down here with all the different things that we've got going on. So that is basically how I'm going to do everything. So I just need to set up a few more things like this. We're going to have basically the exact same setup for this little like buffer thing here. But then on the end, it's just going to be really simple stuff. Like we're going to have one smelter, and that's just going to be an encased fan like I've got in my workshop up there. And then it's going to be the same again for washing and haunting. I don't think I need to do one for smoking, but we're going to definitely want one for soul sand. We're going to want to cook up the sand into glass, the cobble into stone, and the stone into smooth stone. So obviously that is going to cycle back around as well. So I'm just going to take some time to get a little bit more of this done, and then we should have pretty much all of the basics set up. Right, so a short time later, and it's all done. So as you can see, I've added in another 2 channels over here. So we've got this one, which is for smelting, and then we've got the next one that is for washing. And I've decided to not do the haunting, because the only real reason I need that, if we look at the encased fan, if we have a look at things we can do with the bulk haunting, there's not a lot that I want to do in bulk that comes from cobble anyway. The only thing I can really think of that I'm going to use it for is the sand, turning it into soul sand. And the only real reason to do this is if we wash it, we get quartz. So this is how I'm going to do my quartz farm, but I don't think this is something I'm going to do on a request like we've got over here. So it's going to be like a standalone system, just like the iron farm is. We're going to do that separate. So I don't think I'm going to need haunting for anything. So these 2 channels here start exactly the same. We've got the tunnels that are filtered with a package address. They go into a barrel, and when I was requesting all these, I've set these up quite high now. There was absolutely tons of packages coming out here, and this thing did pretty much fill up. So it was definitely a good decision to do this. I do not regret this at all. So then they'll come out of here into a package here, and then instead of going to a barrel, these go into a vault. And the reason I've done that is so I can put a chute below, and that'll go to the encased fan that's down there. And then below that, we just have a belt taking the items into a funnel, and then we have some chutes down there with a fan underneath, and that blows the items up into the item vault. So as you can see, we've got a lot of stuff in there. But if we have a look at here, we can have a look at the thresholds I've set now. So I've turned the cobble off because it's at 73,000, which is mad. I've set the stone to 60 stacks and the smooth stone to 60 stacks. Those are both melted up. Gravel to 40 stacks, sand to 40, and glass to 40. And once we've got the smelting done, I got the glass added in. I also did the stone, and those go, so these 3 go to smelt. And then for the washing, I've only added in this one for the clay. Now this one is set up a bit different because it's a chance that you'll get clay, and it's a 25% chance when you wash it that you'll get clay. So I've set this to send 60 and expect 16 back. But as this is only a chance, I've had to set the promise to expire on this, because if I don't get 16 back, this is just going to hang around until it does. So in this case, it's just going to expire after 5 minutes, and then it'll try again. So from that, obviously we can smelt the clay into bricks, and I've set that to smelt, and this one is wash. So yeah, that is all done, nice and simple, and we've got tons of stuff in here now. We've already seen the amounts on there, but it's just more impressive when you see it as single items rather than stacks. So yeah, tons of stuff in there. The problem is I can't actually access any of this at the moment because I don't have a way of requesting anything from here other than those things over there. So that is why I've spent a little bit more time putting these chains around here. So these chain conveyors and chains in between them, and these go around to the existing ones I have on this farm anyway, and that means I'll be able to request things from up there once I get some frog ports and stock links on here. And I was going to do that now, but I've decided that I'm going to have a bit of an overhaul of my main storage up there, because I did try and change it earlier so I could request things from up there but also from down here as well, but because of the way I've done that, it's way too tight, so I'm going to have to basically rip it all out and have the main vault somewhere else, but I can still have all the stock link and everything up there, so that's no problem. But it is a lot more work than I intended to do. So shall we have a look down here, because I haven't shown this yet. Right, so no, that's not right. I can't get back up there now. No, let's can we get down here without killing myself? Yeah, there we go. So let's just put that there. Right, so I've done a bit of a tidy up down here as well. It's not very tidy, but it's much better than it was. So I've done a little bit of digging, tried to make a bit more space down here. I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but it was just really janky. So the main thing I did was from the belt, I ran a chain drive down and then a gearbox, and that gearbox goes into a rotation speed controller, which is reducing everything down to 4. And then I've got that going into an encased chain drive, and this is what drives the fans. So I've got those going at a really slow speed, and they just push everything over there. And then I've also got another case chain drive coming down from the top as well, and that's driving the belts. And that is where I was going to leave it, but then I got a bit carried away and I dug this tunnel down here. So no prizes for guessing what I've done here. I ripped out all of the water wheels that were under my house, ran this along here, and that now means that pretty much everything in the house that was running off these water wheels, which are now not there, comes from the steam engines that we've got on the other side. So this just goes up here, and it's the same setup as I had before. I've left a couple of things in. I still need to wire this up. So this is what takes the lava from down here, which is going to go eventually because I don't have the lava farm down here anymore. But I'll have a think about what I'm going to do there. But this now basically runs most of the stuff in the house. So I've ripped out the iron farm as well. I still have a little bit of iron in here, so I can get rid of that. So this also goes across to the tree farm as well. So all the automation over there, that's run by the steam engines as well. And then this stuff comes up here, and this also runs my storage system on the next floor. Everything else in the house runs from the windmill, but all like the intense stuff now runs from the steam engines. So I did have a move around up here a little bit. I've moved my stock keeper and my stock ticket over here. We're in this corner originally, so I thought I could do something a bit fancy with this. But as I said, this vault is going to go, but that also means moving everything that's inside it as well. So that's not going to be a lot of fun. So if you have a look at this threshold switch at the side, we have 67,000 items in there. So yeah, that's going to be fun. I'm definitely going to have to automate that. I'm not doing it manually. So yeah, I did intend to get these frog ports on here today and get all this finished off, but I think an overhaul of the storage system is definitely in order, and that is going to be a lot of fun to get that done. I would also like to make these a bit fancier as well, so I don't know if I can actually break these behind it or if that's going to break everything, but we'll figure that out next time. I don't want to touch anything for now because I'm very happy with how it's working. And I have had this running quite intensely. I had those at 20 stacks originally, and I upped them to 60, and it just went crazy. But everything kept up. And the one thing I should explain is that I've got this belt going back, which I said I might not need to do. And this is because I made a bit of a slight error in judgment. And that is when I set up the bricks to smelt from the clay. The problem is, the clay is in this one here. So this is the washing. So the sand comes in here, washes it, and it turns it into clay. So when this requests bricks, it takes the clay out of here, sends it this way. And then because the belts go this way, it was going over here, and then it was just flying off the end. So I don't have a way of sending it back that way to go into the smelting. And I was really confused at first. I had no idea why it was going over here. I thought it was missing the smelting for some reason. But then when I eventually figured it out, I put this belt in, so it just goes back this way, and then it'll come along here to try again, and then it doesn't miss, and it always goes in there. So that's it. That's our basics requesting setup done, and I'm very happy with how this gone. Obviously, we can make some additions to it. We can also compact the clay into clay blocks and get those smelted. We can also compact the bricks into the brick blocks, so we can do some building with that, and a few other things we could do as well. But I'm very happy with this. Definitely got the basics sorted, and I think next time we should get that storage system done, and even set up the iron farm and the quartz farm as well. So I'll leave it there, but if you have enjoyed this episode, please do leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.